in my opinion, what I think has just happened is that things are just now at realistic prices,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Exactly.
It's like things went crazy over the last 2 years with the inflation that we saw,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
So
Biggs and Boggs.
gosh,
3, 2,
this is dramatic.
1.
Hey guys, and welcome back to your future hand with Biggs and Boggs. I'm Marty Boggs.
And I'm Julian Biggs.
We got Spencer on sound and screens.
Spencer.
Thanks for joining us today, folks. We got a really good episode for you, so stick around till the end. You're not going to want to miss it. Smash that like button, and let's get right into it. What are we up to today, and how can we plan for tomorrow? Julian.
Thanks, Marty. Today, we are just going to have a little bit of conversation about price action. We are still kind of in this bear market, but crypto is still booming. There's a lot going on, conferences around the world and things like that seem busy. So we're just going to chart a little bit, have a little conversation, and see what's going on in the market with the market scope.
Markets go.
Okay, so right now, I'm actually looking at the weekly. I'm looking at the weekly chart right now because we've been kind of hovering on this line here just above 18K. I guess this is 18.2 was kind of our bottom a couple of times here in the last couple of weeks. So I still don't think a whole lot is going on at this point, but we are just kind of closing Q3 here. And, you know, the question is, are we going to see some more price action between now and the end of the year? We got a few months left. And are we going to be looking for some profits here, or are things going to just kind of stay floating the same sideways as they have for quite some time here?
Mm-hmm. What's your low there? 17 something?
17.2. So I don't even think we got that low, but that's kind of where I've
And then the lower
marked
line,
another bottom. So
line beneath.
it was like 17.5 or whatever was the low we hit.
And then
there,
what was the one
17.7.
beneath that? You got there? What's that one?
15.4. So
15.4.
yeah, and that's just going by, previous kind of stop points. Like we did have this little bit of a chill out here.
Right.
In previous times. So, but I wanted to go back to this vertical line actually and just see, like, you know what I mean? Like we're still well above that. So this was March of 2020 where this vertical line is.
Yeah.
And that's kind of when everything started taking off and going crazy.
Yeah.
Right. And this is when people really realize that Bitcoin and crypto are not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And like for the foreseeable future, we are just going to continue either sideways or moving up. So,
right. Right, we broke out of the pattern.
Yeah.
Broke to the bottom side. So best case scenario is that we get back in there sometime soon, but I don't think that's going to happen sometime soon.
No.
So I'll hop over to this screen, whing, and you can see what we got here. This is Bitcoin on the daily. And from what I'm seeing right now, this chart compared to the DXY, which is doing this, I do believe... This is my last line that I've got on here. It'll work its way up to there before coming back down. And then this up here, this is November 28th. So, yeah, we're looking at middle to end of November for the end of this run.
DXY, US dollar, what's it worth right now? 108?
Right now it's 112.
112, wow.
112.
Okay, so we got it a little bit higher at the end of last week there, too. So we're looking at the US dollar chart there. And, yeah, like Marty just said, it's at $1.12 right now. So...
if we break this line here, then we are in for a continuation of some. I don't even really know, to be honest with you. The only time the dollar ever goes up like this is when the world's in whatever they call it. I don't even peril. Whatever they're making.
Deflationary period, recessionary period. There's a lot of people calling it a lot of different things. But strength coming back to the U.S. dollar, people are obviously dumping assets. So we see that, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ and all these different stock markets are they're not doing that great. Where, markets are basically down 70%, like globally on an average is probably around, 60, 70% between stocks and crypto and things like that. So the U.S. dollar continues to go up. The interest rates continue to go up. Inflation kind of has stayed the same.
Yeah.
But people are holding U.S. dollar as opposed to holding their assets as long as they kind of...
And basically holding we're just waiting.
Yeah.
That basically is called sidelines. You're waiting on the sidelines for things to bottom out. So this is why I don't think it's going to break. And if it does, it's not going to go too much more because it's by design. They want to push the dollar up till there's that point, the tipping point when everybody goes back into assets
and
again,
so
right?
like one of the biggest things causing, inflation right now is the housing market.
Yeah.
And this huge housing bubble, right? And as long as that is kind of where it is, inflation is going to stay the same. Like I'm pretty sure that housing is like a third of all the CPI index or something like that, right? It's actually like quite a high number.
Well, there's a reason why it's so overinflated.
So it's like, how much can the housing market come down? You know what I mean? Before people just start to scoop up a bunch of property again, right?
Exactly.
So it's like, it's still rising. Well, it's not rising right now. We're kind of seeing it kind of level out and even come down a bit in value with the U.S. dollar being so strong and the interest rates going up. So people aren't buying houses because the interest rates are too high right now. Or, there's probably a lot of people in positions that do have to buy houses. They're kind of just in that place where they have no choice. They got to pull the trigger.
Exactly.
But, a lot of
nobody's
property
buying it.
investors and
Exactly.
stuff like
Nobody's buying it as an investment.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
So and that's what drives the market. And that's the unfortunate truth. The investor is going to give you the price of the house that you want to buy just to live in with your family.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
Because everything's a Ponzi scheme, basically, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, as far as Bitcoin goes, I do believe that we'll see at least some cool off here and some pullback, and then we'll probably see some resistance or some support as we start to come down, and maybe another bounce. But in regards to Bitcoin, I do believe that push up on the DXY will push this down, and probably like even you have your 15 line there. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it hit 15. I'd be surprised if it went lower than 15, but right around 15 sounds reasonable.
But it's like, look at how much.
But then people are going to, that's going to be the price where people are going to jump back in.
So I'm only looking at the weekly again here. We're not on the daily, but if you look at this wick, so this last big drop that we had, and we look at this wick that went down to like 17.7 or whatever the bottom of that was. Oops. But look at how fast that went back up.
Exactly. So
right?
that's what I'm thinking. That's what we need to happen anyway. So if look at RSI on this for example. So every time we were going sideways here, RSIs were green, they were split.
Right.
And then it hits red and they go down. But
right.
another right here, RSIs are green and they're split and it gets knocked down. So right here again, we've been going sideways. RSIs are green and split. So it's funny. It's kind of opposite because it's like.
So I look at this RSI. It's the same kind of deal. As yours, but I just want to go back and let's see the last time it was actually underneath the 30 mark. So last time it was under the 30% strength index was December of 2018. So we dipped into that this year. So that was the last bear market, right? One dip into that less than 30% on the RSI. And that was December 2018. And now we've done it again. So
it's basically running out of room to go down. Like most indicators are saying like bottom is not in, but it's very, very close because it's going to be one more quick wick to liquidate a bunch of positions before it starts going back up again, right?
Right.
So we'll see one more flash. That's why you have to have your buy orders and limit orders, whatever, set and ready to go because you're not going to be watching the charts when it happens. Like we're probably going to, for us on the West Coast, it's going to be happening in our sleep probably, or late at night or early in the morning because we are we are literally in the worst place in the world for trading. Our time zone sucks for that.
Yeah, unless you get up at like 4 in the morning.
Exactly, you stay up all night.
Well, yeah, no, our time zone sucks.
Yeah, you got to start at 5 o'clock our time and work all night until 5 if you want to. Like. See the charts move a bit.
Yeah.
Every time we're up, it's just sideways.
It's unfortunate. So, I mean, yeah, not a whole lot going on. Like the daily to me looks pretty weak, really. Yeah. Like, I mean,
that's what I mean. My price guess is that we are going to probably maybe even this week, but if not very soon, within the next 2 months, see one more big flash crash, big wick. It's not going to last a day. I bet you even it'll pop right back up to somewhere around here, maybe a little lower. And then that will be that final bottom.
Right.
And then after that, it's probably just going to continue going sideways again for another year. But it'll be a slow incline instead of a slow decline like we've been seeing.
I actually, I think personally, and maybe it won't be much, but I think that if the markets continue the way they do and the housing market is the way it is, that traditional finance is like if interest rates up, bonds and stocks and things like that are going to take a hit, right? So they're not going to be an attractive investment. People still invest their money, you know what I mean? So things like Bitcoin and crypto and, DeFi, for example, I think we're going to continue to see those grow over the next couple of years. Whether or not the percentage is huge, I think it's going to be greater than we see in stocks and bonds and things like that. Just based on the new technology, like we see the things
that's what the younger generation's into. So it's just a matter of time.
And what it is blockchain. It's like we just talk about Bitcoin a lot. We're Bitcoin kind of maximalists here because in this bear market, I think that's what if you're new, you should definitely only be focusing on Bitcoin, and that is it,
100%.
in my opinion. But there's a whole lot of things going on in the space, and there's been people investing in this space a long time. So DeFi, for example, which is gaining traction, and it's down like everything else is, but it's got a valuation of
and it's still building though.
yeah, and it's got a valuation of $20 billion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's peanuts
Yeah.
in the grand scheme of things. Like $20 billion is nothing. You know what I
Nothing.
mean? And it's going to continue to grow.
Yeah.
So you got to think in a traditional investment venture, you have a 10-year horizon, right?
Yeah.
And people just be like, oh, crypto, you know what I mean? Like they think they're going to get rich overnight, or it's some sort of get rich quick thing. It's like it's not. Like it's technology development is what's happening on this blockchain right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you have that 10-year horizon and you know what I mean, then you're piecing your way or dollar cost averaging your way into this space, you're going to do way better than any traditional finance would have done for you in the last 10 years. You know what I mean?
By 50% at minimum.
Or way more. If you had been investing in Bitcoin for the last 10 years, you're up 500 and whatever the
Yeah.
it is.
a
It's
lot.
like it's
You're up.
ridiculous.
You're
in the
up.
last 10 years, I think it was like 562% or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just
Because of all the money printing, it needs to go somewhere. And this is where it's going.
It's also new, and the users are going to continue to grow whether you believe they are or not. They're just going to. It's just there's no, in 2017 or 2018 or whatever it was, or 2013, maybe the first bull run, and people were kind of unsure of crypto or whether it was going to be.
Plus, it was very hard to access.
You know
you
what
had
I
to
mean?
be
But
coding
it's like
to.
Now, if you just take a look, Google crypto and some of the things that are going on around the world, like that conference that just happened in Singapore it was huge. Like it did not look like it was a bear market going on when you see how many people were in this conference, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so it's like it's not going anywhere, and
No, and the thing that's holding it back is the accessibility, right? Not a lot of people can grasp how to do it, only because it's new to them. And seriously, once you grasp it, it's the easiest thing. It's so much easier than everything else once you understand how it works. And that's all it is. It's just learning something new.
Things are taking a 70% crash, right? But
it's a new market. It's volatile.
But in my opinion, what I think has just happened is that things are just now at realistic prices.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
It's like things went crazy over the last 2 years with the inflation that we saw.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So, now they're at realistic prices. So it's like, no, you're not too late. It's like, great. It would have been awesome to buy Bitcoin in 2013.
Yeah.
But
you know what the funny thing is the whole time we were in the bull run and prices were at 60 and 50 and 40, people were like, oh, if Bitcoin was 20K, like that number came out so often. Oh, 20K, like,
right?
You know what I mean? So now
I buy
it's
so
here.
much more, but now that it's 20K, people are like, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait for it to get to like 80.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to get to 40 before I can buy more. Like, what? No.
Yeah, I'm just gonna save up like 10 grand and then I'll buy some Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's not how it works, right? Like, because if you like Bitcoin at 60K, you're gonna love it at 20K, right?
Like Marty said, accessibility. Like, learn these things. It's apps. If you can use Instagram and Facebook and whatever sort of social media platform that you're using and doing everything else, then you can absolutely figure out how to
hated it in
buy
the
some
beginning
crypto.
because it was hard to understand, but you kept at it, and now you're addicted to it.
Now you're addicted.
Crypto's the same way.
It really is. It really is.
But it's more beneficial to you to be addicted to something that can help you out financially.
So it's like if we have,
Instead of just
it's increased so much in the last 2 years
drain
too.
you.
So it's like, I don't know, it's like 50 million users, 50 to 100 million users or something like that. Wallet addresses in the last couple of years.
Yeah. Wallet addresses are still continuously going
They're going
up.
to continue to grow, and the addresses that are already here are going to continue to get bigger, and we're going to continue to add new addresses. So if we have a focus on a 10-year horizon from 200 million users now, or whatever it is, you know what I mean? We're going to be talking about 1 billion or more people at the end of 5 years or at the end of 10 years.
Yeah,
right?
well, eventually it'll take over the whole banking system, and nobody will need anybody else to do their finances for them because
and it's like people
right
are like,
here.
oh, I can't take over finance, but it's like people need to realize that it's not going to be a cryptocurrency. And we should,
it's just the blockchain,
They're
right? It's
assets.
so much more solid as staying connected, making sure that
It's not
everything
crypto
works the
taking
right
over,
way.
It's blockchain.
Exactly, and nobody, does whatever they write stuff off under the table and all this stuff that happens in finance nowadays. Like that, You don't do that with this, right?
Yeah.
It works 100% of the time. So it's just inevitable.
100% of the time, it works every time.
It's just inevitable that it will take over because it's better technology.
Yeah.
Just like everything that's better technology.
And this
will take
is
over.
that, and that's all it is. It's a change in the era. This is a technological advancement of our time that we are progressing towards.
Yeah.
And you want to get in now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It's definitely not too late. It's still
Especially
very
when
early.
it's 70% down. And
still
it's like if
have-
it goes down a little more.
We still have over 100 years of coins being developed, or Bitcoin being mined, right? So
Yeah.
like, it's
And every time the halving cycle happens, the Bitcoin is released into the market and causes these price surges. It's
Exactly,
going to happen.
right?
It's going to happen. These
Exactly.
cycles happen over.
But that's
and over
okay
again,
because
so.
that allows you to get in at those prices. You
Yeah.
want that to happen. So that's why I'm like,
So
again,
if it goes to 15K,
yeah, you got those limit orders, right?
you should have
Like,
some limit orders.
you got your wallet set up and you have your buys going or whatever, and always just keep the DCA going because we could always be wrong and it could just go up from here. Maybe we did see the bottom, right? Like we were talking about, one more crash and then a sideways thing, and it has already happened.
So I mean, like the RSI, we've bounced on it like probably a couple times on the daily now, but the weekly there, you know what I mean. That very well could have been the bottom.
Yeah.
We're
very
close. We
close.
haven't seen it that low under the 30% mark there since 2018.
Yeah.
So
that's just a good sign to start DCAing, and it doesn't
Yeah.
matter from here. We're chilling, DCAing, chilling. If you're
Chilling.
trading, wait for that next
Yeah.
flash crash and long it.
you should buy I wish it wasn't so much fees, but I want to increase my amount of buys, so I'm buying more often again. You know what I mean? Because I got a bi-monthly kind of purchase set up right now. So every or I guess it's bi-weekly because it is every 2 weeks right now. I was bi-monthly there for a bit, but if you have an X amount of dollars or X amount of whatever into Femex or Binance or whatever it is that you're using, and you have that in USDC or USDT or whatever the case may be, and then you just set your limit orders in that market, you'll pay less in fees because you've already got that money there. So I don't know. It is something to think about. Getting yourself more well versed with these apps, and if you're watching the show, you're obviously interested. So
if you have any questions, drop them in the comments.
Yeah.
Have yourself a lovely day.
Just ends it like that, eh? Bigs and Bogs out.
Peace. I got nothing else. Long that.